Our partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Hey y'all, it's your man Lloyd Spence, and find all the latest odds, news, and sports developments, including this year's Wimbledon Finals. Sorry, Serena. Major League Baseball and the latest fighting news, and even next season's early NFL futures, all at BetOnline. Here's what you got to do. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, to get your bonus and get into the action. This is BetOnline.ag. It's BetOnline. When the game starts, tell them, yeah, boy. The noise music.
Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Yeah. Can I make you move now? Yes, I can. So you can get this move in the back of a can. You can make it round the world when the holes in your hand. Popcorn World. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. I said popcorn make you smile. Ah. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. It's a popcorn world. It's a popcorn
world. You're now listening to the Brothers of the Five. At shooting guard, it's your boy, Killer Cam. At small forward, it's Reggie Love. At point guard, C Major. At power forward, Al B. And at center, Mr. Noise, Lloyd Spence. And now, the Brothers of the Five. Back from a long hiatus and vacation, we are here. We are ready. We have a ton to talk about, but obviously we start to the victor goes the spoils. Ladies and gentlemen, there he is, Chad Major in the building. Is he praying? What's he doing? Chad, are you all right or are you frozen? Oh, okay. I didn't know if he was praying or what. I didn't know what was going on.
No, I'm good.
I'm just saying, are you gonna show off or what are you gonna do? This is your moment. What are you gonna do?
Oh man, I'm very humble, man. I'm just not, you know what I'm saying? I'm just,
Did you just say you were very humble? Are you trying to get the whole broadcast struck by lightning?
Oh man, I'm just enjoying the ride, man. Enjoying
the ride? Okay,
yeah,
all right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, you saying you're enjoying the ride. The rumor is you're a Steph Curry fan. You're not a Golden State Warriors fan.
Man, it comes with the territory, brother.
I'm just saying, man. Which one are you, man?
I got
Steph. If Curry leave tomorrow, are you gonna be how that Golden State stuff on?
Are you trading him in if he leaves tomorrow?
Wherever he goes, I go.
I mean, listen. Jesse's a Tom Brady fan. I'm not sure he's a full-on Patriots fan, so I don't know. so we're not talking about unacceptable.
For some reason, like all my guys have retired. Shirt or something like that. I'm trying to understand you guys. Please help me understand this.
What you want to understand?
Because you should have a Steph Curry championship T-shirt on. You shouldn't have a Warriors T-shirt on.
I do have Steph Curry apparel. So
no, I need to see a championship Curry T-shirt. You shouldn't have a Warrior shirt on because you're not a Warrior fan. You're a Steph Curry fan.
Who died and made you the king of the?
I'm just calling it out like it is because it's a lot of people like that with LeBron too. Am I right, Lord? And a lot of people
There's
like
a
that
ton
with
of people
LeBron.
like that with LeBron. That is very true.
So I just need you to take that Warrior stuff off and go find your Steph Curry championship T-shirt. That's all.
I think this is an old school, new school scenario.
I'll pass.
Old school is like we ride with this team, good, bad, and indifferent. It don't matter. This is our team. You pick your team. That's how it is. But I think new
Right.
school is very much player oriented. I have to believe that.
And I understand that because a player don't last but 4 years with a squad. So, I understand. If that.
Right. It's becoming increasingly hard to just choose a team.
Right. And
Yeah,
I would not buy a jersey these days. I would dare not buy a jersey.
No, that jersey is outdated almost the minute that you get it. Like it's, that's why what's the name of the company? What's the name of that company that does the jerseys?
Fanatics.
Well, who is it?
Fanatics.
I think it's Fanatics. They put in a rule that if your player switches teams, I think that's what the rule is. Isn't that what the rule is?
Jersey insurance or something, right?
No, that's American Express.
Oh, okay.
No. That's I thought it was.
That's American Express.
That's American Express on the NBA store. If you use your American Express card to buy a jersey at the NBA store and your player switches teams, you can get a new jersey. It's American Express insurance.
Well, that's a lot of rules. I got to have an American Express and I got to go to the NBA store. Why can't that just be a rule all the way across the board?
Because then you'd never sell another fucking jersey.
That's probably true. That's also probably true. You done got.
I'm sorry, Mama Bear.
You might want to back up. You might want to back up.
I want to back up there.
Hey, but I'm speaking facts. That's all. I'm just speaking facts.
Opinion.
I'm speaking facts. Hey, it's like when a pastor's speaking and he talking to the crowd and you like, is he talking to me?
Oh my goodness!
I guess you're getting rid of your Deontay Murray.
Hey, you can switch churches, right? Because you're just a Jesus fan at the end of the day.
There you go.
Is that the equivalent? Is that the equivalent? I love Jesus. I just don't like this church no more.
I'm just saying, if I go to hell, it'll be for worshiping false idols named Tom Brady. That's all I know.
Well, listen, whether we are fans of Steph Curry or the Warriors, the fact remains in question number one. We have an NBA champion that is the Golden State Warriors. And we have been gone for quite some time. We have not had a chance to react to it. So here we are reacting to it. And gentlemen, we've definitely had time to sit in it. The finals, we've had time to sit in the reactions to the finals, the parade reactions, everything. What is everybody's thoughts? I'm gonna start with Jesse though. I want to start with Jesse, who, by the way, let me also remind people that Jesse, though he is a diehard Celtics fan, did pick the Warriors in 6, just like I did. And it turned out we were correct, as well as C Major. But I would like to know, Jesse, what are your thoughts as it relates to the series as a whole?
It was a good series to an extent. The Warriors are just a better team, and they showed up more consistently, and they had better star power, right? I think you still look at the Warriors and what they did, and you can say that they were still probably like 85% of what they could be, right? Like that's the scary part because I can make a lot of cases to say the Celtics played the same way, right? They played up to 70% of their potential or whatever, but the Warriors have consistently operated like that since 2014. So I'm a massive Warriors fan. I'm even a bigger Steph Curry fan. He might be my favorite player in basketball. Right. I love what he's done for the game. And then when you put what they were able to put around him, I think Steve Kerr is an incredible coach. He just became one of the top 3 biggest ring getters of all time between coaching and playing and everything. Right. So Like, that's not a Robert Ory stat. That's a Bill Russell stat, right?
Right.
And I'm a big fan of that organization. I think they do it right, and I think they do it right consistently, at least over the last 10 years. And they've got a tough offseason in front of them, right, with some salary cap constraints, and they've got some young players. They got to see if they're going to play, but I love that organization. All the credit to the Warriors and to how they performed on the court. I think I don't know if Udoka got out coached, but the level of basketball that the Celtics played. I think one, they had the toughest playoff schedule in the NBA this year. The teams that they had to go through. They didn't make it easy on themselves in any of those series when they could have, so they had to play long series. They had to win tough games. They might have been a little gassed by the time you got to the finals. No excuse, right? Everybody's gassed. You're playing, 105 games at that point in the season. But, and I wish they'd been a little healthier, right? But it's all the credit in the world to the Warriors. Yeah, and again, I just love that team and that organization. They're just first class pretty much in everything that they do, including their superstar, which is important. And the loyalty that he showed to that city as well. And it's just kind of like Milwaukee, right? And Giannis, what Giannis has done is said, I'm going to stay and, just keep building a team around me. And they've got a great coach out there in Budenholzer. And that city thrives because the Bucks are in that city and the arena that they have and the attention that those fans give that team. Very similar to Golden State because Oakland's losing all their sports too, right? So I'm a big, San Francisco outside the Giants, but I'm a big fan of the Golden State Warriors. I think they did an incredible job. It could have been over in 4, right? Like it really could have been. And so, I mean, it was great, but it was what I expected,
Yeah.
So, hats off to the Warriors, and hopefully the Celtics learn something through this experience, right? That core group has made it to, 4 Eastern Conference Finals in 5 years. They've made it to the championship now, so they've got another step to take. They're all under 26 years old, so that's a good thing. But we'll see what happens. But Warriors are just class of the league. And then the only reason nobody picked them, at the beginning of the year is because you didn't know what was going to happen with Clay. And the Suns and their record was pretty incredible all year coming off the season they had the year before that. So it's tough to really pick them. But when they turned it on, it was just, Steph Curry. You got to start talking about it, right? Top 10 all time. You got to start talking about it.
Yeah. Chad, would you like to take this moment? So that Reggie and I, because we're gonna go probably a whole different route, but we let the two big fans go first.
I mean, Jesse pretty much said it all, man. They definitely, 4 rings in the span of 8 years. That's very impressive, man. And to do it with a different cast that a lot of guys are hadn't been there before, and then you had guys coming in long injuries and different things like that. You just didn't know, even though they started the season like 18-2, you just still didn't know what kind of team you were getting once Clay came back. So,
right.
I mean, it was a good series. I think Boston, they did kind of what the Spurs, the Warriors been known to do, those turnovers, and they kind of bit them in the butt more than the Warriors did. So they definitely Boston does have a great team. I feel like they'll make some adjustments and they'll be right back in it. Robert Williams, man, he's if he wasn't hurt
about him, Jesse,
and he was hurt too. So I mean that's impressive what he did while he was hurt. So I'm happy for Clay, being back. Them guys getting that ring. So. We'll see, what's going to happen. I know they said that they were letting some guys test free agency. So we'll see, what's going to happen at this point. But.
Here's why you can't be mad as a Celtics fan, because the Celtics did a lot of things to themselves even if they hadn't, I don't know if they win the series, right? And so that's why I'm not like really mad about it, because turnovers were huge and running out of gas and all those different things. But like, yeah, they beat themselves in a lot of situations, but that just put them 30 behind, instead of like 8 behind. So.
Okay. All right. Reggie, you leaned in on that one, so I'll yield the floor. Your thoughts.
I mean, to be honest, I'm gonna speak about the Golden State. Of course, that's I love they're a class act. No ifs and buts about it.
Right.
Their coach came from a great system. What can we say? So, but if we're talking about play on the court, to be honest with you, that wasn't the best Golden State team that played on this series, and I've seen them play much, much better. The way gosh, what's my guy? He just came out. My mind just went blank. I'm getting old, guys. The one from Minnesota.
Wiggins.
Oh man,
Wiggins.
Yeah.
Wiggins was the difference maker in the series. Steph was being Steph. Clay wasn't 100%. Draymond, to be honest with you, this wasn't the best series Draymond played.
No,
at all.
Correct.
He wasn't even close to the best series he played.
Right.
So when you go really talk about it, you like, okay, Steph was Steph, but Wiggins was the difference maker in this series. When I go to Boston, I just feel they were the biggest and the most athletic team between the two teams. No ifs and buts about it. I just believe that IQ of the game took over, and Golden State had a better IQ. Their veterans, their reactions to certain situations in the game, that made a huge difference. I mean, it was times that the Boston Celtics showed their youth when they settled for so many things. And I love Boston, don't get me wrong. It was so many unforced turnovers. I'm not going to say forced turnovers by Golden State. I'm going to say unforced turnovers that really was like, that showed the youth. That showed the youth of when Tatum and some of the plays that he made, selling for jump shots when he has the size. When I'm going to talk about Game 6, and by the way, I picked Golden State in 7, but
Right.
I did say that. But Game 6, I'm thinking, okay, Boston goes right off the bat. They start pounding on the inside. Golden State goes down and makes 2 threes, and they just forget about going back to the inside. And I don't know, was that coaching? Or was that the players not listening? I don't know what that was. And to me, to this day, I don't understand why you didn't use your size and length on Golden State. You bailed them out with those jump shots so many times. I don't even want to think about it. And unforced turnovers. So to me, I just think the veteran IQ came out, and that was the difference between that game. The most athletic team, the game. But at the end of the day, it's defense. It's IQ, and that's what made the difference of this championship game series.
I'm gonna make an analogy here that I think is apropos to this conversation, and I'm gonna piggyback on what you just said, Reggie. In football, the running game sets up the pass, in most offenses, traditionally speaking, because if you have a dominant running game, you can kind of like a Derrick Henry or a old school Walter Payton or Emmitt Smith or whatever. It typically will help you open up all of the lanes you need for a great passing game.
Right.
Similar to that, the basketball equivalent of that is if you go down low and they are forced to come down and pack down and try to stop you, then you now have open shots that you can kick the ball out to. So it's the same basic concept. One thing opens up the other thing. So from that perspective, I think that was the consistent thing that Boston could not, in their youthfulness, master. And I get it, because to that same analogy I just made, if a team goes up on you like Golden State, because their thing is, we're going to break the rules and go opposite. We're going to go pass first, then run the ball, or 3 first, then 2. And so, and they can do that because they're built that way. So the equivalent is if you're down in points, now you feel like you have to pass,
Right.
as opposed to do what you do best and just work your way back into the game. Same thing with Boston. Boston was like, well, they're hitting these threes. We got to do something. We got to match them 3 for 3. Well, you're not going to win that game.
No,
you got
not
to
at
go
all.
do what you do and then try to get back in the game on the defensive side. And since you are the number 1 defensive team in the league, you got to rest your hat on what you do best. But a lot of that, I don't think it was coaching as much as it was a combination of coaching and youth. I'll give Ime some of it because he's got to be able to effectively pound that message into his guys, but he can't take it on the court. And I would imagine because he's a smart coach, and I'm gonna use Reggie's analogy, he comes from a great system. I would imagine he did pound that message to them. But they're young, man, and they see what's happening, and they still got a lot of that. I think they're still kind of struggling with that who is the man on this team kind of thing. So there's a little bit of that unspoken takeover because Jaylen Brown, honestly, was awesome. I don't have any real criticisms for him. But with Jason, I think we've heaped a lot on his shoulders, and I don't know if he gets what to do with it yet.
Right.
I understand that. Yeah.
He's so talented. And I'm going to piggyback before we go on to Jason. The worst thing that could have ever happened, y'all might think this is crazy. The worst thing that ever happened to Boston was that game 1 and they hit so many threes in that fourth quarter because they started to rely on the 3-point shot, which that's not their game. Not their game. They're not a 3-point shooting. How many threes did they hit that fourth quarter? What?
Hit a ton. It was a lot in that first game, wasn't it?
Right. Things like 10
and I believe that was one of the things that even though they won the game, hung their hat on that. And I'm like, that's not you. You can't. There's not a team in the league can go 3 for 3 with Golden State. If you can tell me one team in the league that can do that, please let me know because there's not a team that can do that. So
yeah, I don't think that's the recipe. And honestly, to that same point, Reggie, that's kind of deceptive because it just looks like they're doing 3 for 3. They're really not. They're actually taking the best shot available, but because those threes feel so backbreaking, it's like we got to shoot. Right. We got it. Just so there's a weird momentum thing that's happening that kind of deceives you. So you got to be real careful with that whole thing. Brandon brought up a good question. He said, "How do you defend shooting from half court?" You don't.
You don't. See,
you don't.
The thing with Golden State, they make runs off of your missed shots. So sometimes to break their runs, you don't necessarily have to hit a 3. You might say, "Hey, let me take an easy post. Let me take an easy 2 on the post. Let me get fouled. Let me put the pressure back on them defensively." And you can slow down that run. You see, because if you get in a shooting competition with Golden State, and if they are making their shots and you're missing yours, perfect example, game 6, Draymond Green was getting the rebound, and what was he doing? He was pushing the ball up the court. And he was putting the pressure on Boston defense. And when you have that momentum going, it's hard to slow it down. So sometimes when they make that run, you have to slow it down and maybe take an easy 2 or maybe force the ball inside for an easy layup or a foul just to slow the momentum down. So,
I got a question. Does Boston need like a true point guard to be able to help facilitate that offense?
I hear that, but I don't think that's really true. I'm not one of those that buys that. Because here's the thing. Boston's half-court defense was actually really good.
Exactly.
They that wasn't the problem. And when they went inside, their offense was pretty good. The only problem that they really had was when they tried to say, "Okay, let's get away from what we do. Let me get Jason going one-on-one. Let me get Jaylen was able to go one-on-one. Jason not so much. And the problem with the one-on-one thing is that it makes it stagnant for everything else they do. when Boston moves the ball all around and everybody's touches the ball and they get the open shot, they're a tough team to beat.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. A point guard to be able to help facilitate that and get away from that one-on-one.
But I don't know what a point guard would do. Like they and to Marcus Smart's point that he made, I think today, they've had that. They've had point guards. Kimbo was supposed to be that point guard. Dennis Schroeder was supposed to be that point guard. Kyrie was supposed to be that point guard. None of those point guards worked.
And I think those guys, they're so young and talented. But like Tatum is a big Kobe fan. And if he can go back and study, Kobe gets the ball on the floor at certain points, certain positions, certain spots. Kobe does not settle for a step back three or step to the side three. He finds the spot. Like if he says, okay, I have Steph Curry on me, I'm going to find the elbow. I'm going to find a short corner on the post. I'm going to do the little things to get the easy bucket. And once Tatum understands that aspect of the game, he's going to be one of the toughest players in the league, no ifs and buts about it. I just think he's learning to put it together. I love his upside. His upside is tremendous. And a lot of people are putting this pressure on this kid like he's that guy, but no, he's still developing. He's still that guy's upside is, I think he needs to get a little stronger, and he needs to figure out how to pick his points in certain spots. How to pick his spots in the floor of the offense. Yeah. Man, I don't break up that Boston team. I run it back. I just think they learn and grow from it.
Well, if you have a chance, let me ask Jesse, since he's the Boston fan, if you have a chance to get Bradley Beal for Jaylen Brown, would you make the move?
No, two different positions, right? Well, I don't know. No, because Beal's like what, 32?
No. He's 28, I think.
He's been in the league 10 years.
And he has a real good. Him and Jason Tatum are.
Y'all talk amongst yourselves. I'll confirm.
Him and Jason Tatum are really, really close friends. So I think that's something that I'm sure that they talked about, but I didn't know if that would be, trading Jason Tatum for Beal, if that was something that.
There's something to be said for.
He's 29.
For there being, but he'll be 30 this season, right?
No, he just turned 29 yesterday.
Okay. There's something to be said for there being some, having two stars at the same kind of position, right? Where, you're always lacking either on an interior game, like having a Jokic or an Embiid, or, having an all-star point guard, or an all-star, backcourt. It's, I don't think they need to switch it up that much. I mean, I've been a big fan of trading Brown since day one for a lot of reasons. But, I mean, at the end of the day, to me, it comes down to like Celtics averaged 111 points per game in the regular season, right? In their 4 losses, they averaged 92 points per game against Golden State, right? Golden State averaged 111 points per game during the regular season too. They averaged 105 points per game in all 6 games of the NBA Finals. So the Celtics took their points per game average down 6 points through 6 games, right? So I don't know, the Celtics defense was the problem, right? Jason Tatum averaged 21 points in the series. So, to me, all-star superstar, right? Yeah. To Reggie's point, he still has some growing to do. A lot of these players really hitting their prime, 26, 27.
Exactly.
To carry ball clubs, but it's I don't know. I don't know. The defense was the major issue, and I don't know what Udoka could have done about the turnovers that were happening. Right. On that side of the ball. Celtics have an unbelievable coaching staff. I mean, Will Hardy just got hired by the Jazz. Their other assistant coach was one of the 4 candidates for the Jazz job. Right. He'll probably get a job soon. So they've got an unbelievable coaching staff. You've got Brad Stevens, who's been the coach the last 6 years up in the front office. Like, I don't know if that was the issue. I think that there is still that Brown-Tatum dichotomy that is it going to work and does it work together, but is Brown too talented to give up on? Brown's just got so many flaws in so many other areas. Half the time on his hustle, half the time in his basketball IQ, and half the time on defense. That it's just like, you love what he does when he does it, but it's like I remember watching Jeff Green in Oklahoma City, thinking he was, the most amazing thing I'd ever seen in a basketball court. But like, how does that translate to everything else? That's what makes people like Marcus Smart so important, right? With all the intangibles. Same thing with the Draymond Greens of the world, right? You have to have them on your team. So
yeah.
Hey, Jesse, I'm gonna tell you this. If I'm a Boston fan, stay the course. Stay the course. I'm telling you, because I'm gonna take Golden State. We used to thump Golden State in every year they come to the playoffs when they were younger. They got their head busted first, second round. Stay the course. If I'm Boston, I'm staying the course. You got to, man. These kids are young. What's the average age? They're 24.
Yeah,
average age is 24. They're going to mature.
Yeah.
They're going to grow. Man, stay the course. Now, I would pick up a couple of better role players coming off the bench. Maybe some veteran a little bit, to give you a little bit more off the bench. A couple of role players. But other than that, your core group with Tatum, Brown, Smart, and Williams, man, stay that course.
But I would like,
man, I'm loving it.
I would like to comment on what you said about Brown, because I definitely agree. He is, to me, one of the most complex players in the league, because on one side there's this immense talent, fearlessness, doggedness that you love, and you're like, my God, this kid, he's right there to something. I don't know what that something is, but he's right there at it, and you can just tell. But then there's this other part that you go, why'd you do that? And there's about 50% on either side, right? It's like,
but who does that remind you of? Ginobili. You remember with Ginobili? Everybody used to be like, Ginobili. Some of the stuff Ginobili used to do.
I agree, but Reggie, the only disagree I'll put in that is that Ginobili wasn't my starter. You know what I'm saying? He didn't set the tone for the entire team, whereas Brown is. I gotta have Brown get what he gets, whatever that is, whether it's points, whether it's defensive presence. And so it's not consistent enough to, I don't know, to your Bradley Beal question, Chad, I don't know if I would do it. I think I would run it back for sure this year and just take my chances. But
there's no way in hell I would get rid of Brown right now. Listen to me. These kids are 24 years old with a coach that's only coached them 1 year. They're really just adjusted to a system. And you think about it, you got Brown and Tatum are exceptional talent. And they got to learn to play off each other in a sense. And I don't think they understand that just yet.
Don't.
And if the coach is saying, hey, I can get these two kids to play off each other, then the sky's the limit here. You got to run it back, man. You got to. The only team – I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
No, I said the only team that I think Boston will have a problem with next year, and this is my opinion, is Milwaukee. I don't see anybody else really having an issue with it. They have an issue unless Brooklyn get it together, but I ain't putting my hat on Brooklyn. So the only team that I can see Boston losing to next year is Milwaukee, and I could be wrong. That's just my opinion.
Jesse, I'm gonna ask you this question because you are closer to this team than any of us are. Does Ime have to finally put a definition to who Jason is and who Jalen is? And which way would you go? And I'm gonna use this comparison: is Jason the Steph and Jalen is the Clay, or is it the other way around?
No, Jason's your one, right? Jason's going to be a Celtic for life. I think that, but I think about it like this: Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, right, and Ray Allen. I mean, it's 3 Hall of Famers,
right.
So, but it was Pierce's team, right? Miami.
Right.
When they brought in Bosh and LeBron to play with Wade, Wade had already won a ship by himself, and both of them were all-stars, future Hall of Famers, right? It's about knowing your role in the team and committing to it, right? And when you have a superstar like Jason Tatum, everybody else needs to understand that. And it's okay to have two superstars. Like Klay Thompson's a legit superstar, right? He's going to be a Hall of Famer. Yeah. But he understands his role, right? And then he goes out and plays that role. And he lets Steph play his role. And I was talking to Cam earlier today. He goes, well, what do the Lakers need to do? I said, the Lakers need to put LeBron in a position where he can be LeBron. LeBron's good at so many things, but LeBron can't do all of the things. So LeBron needs to be in a position in a game where he goes, okay, I need to play a little more defense, or I need to bring up the intensity, or I need to shoot more, or I need to pass more, right? Run point, control the clock, whatever it is. Let LeBron make those game time decisions and do whatever his talent's going to allow him to do. The Bosches and the Wades of the world allowed him to do that, right? Because they consistently came and played their games every night. Brown needs to come and play his game every night, whatever that is. Scoring, right? Alternating some of the second and fourth period starts. Letting Brown stay on the court a little longer, or bringing Tatum, let Tatum stay a little longer, then bring Brown back a little earlier, right? And having them be able to play with that second unit and be able to dominate their own isolation games, right, in that point. But together, it has to be Jason Tatum. And Marcus Smart runs the show, and Jason sets the tempo, and Jason Tatum just does whatever he needs to do in the moment. And there's a million other plays that you can, incorporate around that kind of a team. But the thing about Boston is that the system that they've created, this isn't a cookie cutter league, right? Right. And we've seen the individuals, Kawhi Leonard's and the Giannis's win championships, right? You've seen the big threes win championships. I don't think there's a defined path to winning a championship. That being said, Boston has identified themselves and told the league who they are. We are going to play defense. We're going to be smart. We're going to be young and athletic, right? We're going to fill gaps with the right pieces and the right role players, smart coaches, smart front office. But they've also said we're going to spend up to the salary cap. We're not willing to go over it.
Yeah.
Right? Golden State's payroll last year was $40 million higher than the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
Well, if the Boston Celtics spent $40 million more dollars, could they have had more talent on the court than Al Horford or Grant Williams or Daniel Tice or Peyton Pritchard? Absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
You could have had Bradley Beal on that exact same team for another $40 million. So, so there's something to be said for that too. But Boston said we're going to play team basketball, and that's how we're going to win. And everybody needs to contribute and know their role and play it. And the defense and all the intangibles, we're going to do that all really, 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 really well. We're not going to beat ourselves. What did Boston do? They went in and beat themselves, and then they all started playing, hero ball.
Right. I'll say this though, Jesse. With all that we've said here, and I agree with everything that we've all said here, but to me, the number one thing that could change this entire conversation is the offseason growth of Robert Williams. If Robert Williams comes back, and I now understand exactly what you were saying. Yeah. My God, he is a man-child out there. Yeah. And if he could just add a semblance of some kind of offense to his game to just offset what Jalen and what Jason are doing, just a little bit, just give me a consistent 15, 10, and 5. That's a championship team at that point.
Well, he's already got 10 points, right? So
that's what I'm saying.
And that's unlimited minutes, right? He's going to go 4 for 5, 5 for 6. He's going to hit 2 free throws, and he's going to get you your 10 in 25 minutes. So part of it's being able to play 30 and 35 minutes, right? This is the first year he he averaged anything beyond 25, and he wasn't able to do it very consistently in the playoffs. And that led to a lot of, them having to play longer series. He missed two of the first 4 games in the Bucks series, right? So I think you're right. I've said this since day one. Olajuwon's running fucking camps.
Get there. Yeah. I make it mandatory that he be
go
there.
Hire Olajuwon for whatever it costs. Give him $10 million to spend an off season with Robert Williams.
Yes.
And one or two moves in the post that aren't just pure athletic, right?
Robert Williams, Tatum needs to go with him as well. That's an aspect of his game he needs to grow in. Tatum is 6'9". He has to be better in that spot. That spot. He has
I
to
mean,
be.
listen, you can make it a team project and just send
Everybody
No,
goes.
rotate
what,
guys
no,
in and
what
out
I'm
of that
saying is,
space.
what I'm saying is that's what I'm saying. The part of you saying the growth of Robert Williams. I'm loving I'm loving the upside of Tatum. I'm like, this kid can be one of those guys that we be talking about 10, 15, 20 years from now.
Well,
What
I
I'm
don't
saying,
yeah.
what I'm saying is that's the part of his game that he needs to go grow from. He's selling from those outside jump shot moves here. If he learns the other aspect of a game or how he goes to the hole and how he can post at certain times, man, this kid is gonna be amazing.
I don't disagree with that, and I agree 100% that they both need to go. But the reason why Jason needs to go is not just that it elevates his offensive game. His problem is that it's offense to defense. So he's saying, I'm taking these threes because I'm tired. I'm freaking tired, and I don't have the energy to go down and post. At least he thinks he doesn't. What he doesn't understand is that if you go down to the post, take your time and get the shot that you want in the post, that also counts as a semblance of rest. So he doesn't understand this. It's elevating the way that you play the game. Like sometimes you're not going to go to the post and go score. Sometimes you're just going to get the entry pass, hold it for a minute, take that beat, get the ball back out, and then guess what? You just found your rest on the offensive side of the court. Yeah, there's ways to cheat the game. Listen, all of us, we played it, we know to understand the game. There are ways that you have to cheat on the court a little bit to get that little rest that you need to keep going in a longer game.
I think that what thing is also
and
missing.
I don't.
Go ahead, Reggie.
No, go ahead, Chad. Go ahead.
Oh, I said I also think what's missing is that tutelage of like you guys said, Olajuwon, but Kobe as well, because Jason Tatum and Kobe were definitely tight, and I feel like he would have sat him down and kind of like, this is what you need to do to get better as far as what you did in the finals.
But see, again, Tatum has all the potential in the world, but that's not who Boston wants to be. They don't want to rely on Tatum for 33 a game, right? They're not asking him to go out there and be that guy, and that's what I think is so important with the system that they're saying we're going to play, right. The identity that they're saying they're going to have. Right. It means you're going to be 9-10 deep in the playoffs. Right. Yeah. And you're going to have a lot of players playing a lot of roles, and they got to go play those well. And it's team basketball. Right.
Yeah, right.
So,
yeah, I'm not saying that as far as go score 33 again. I'm just saying as far as showing you the way, as far as, he, at the end of the game, he sat there and watched them celebrate. And I feel like that hunger is inside of him. But sometimes you need that extra push to,
But I think what's going to be critical to that same point, and what I think Jesse's saying, is this is why Robert Williams has to take that step. If you're going to be the defensive team, that level of defense that they're trying to bring to what they brought this year that made them the number one defense in the league, that is a tiring thing. They switch on everything. They switch 1 through 5. Everybody guards everybody. So if you're going to do that on that end, you have to have everybody contribute on the other end. So it's critical that Robert Williams takes that step, because he's got to make up for that's how you get that 33 points from that 33 points doesn't come from Jason shooting it. It comes from Jason getting the ball to Robert Williams, or Jalen getting the ball to Robert Williams, and Robert Williams finding an additional 8 to 10 points in his game.
I agree with you, but therefore I still believe that I'm not going to bail Tatum out on some of those shots that you said he was shooting threes because he was tired. I think that was the shot that he was just settling for. I really believe in my heart he settled for those shots because he had a smaller defender and he can shoot over the top. I'm saying to him,
Reggie, let me reset everybody's perspective on what happened in this series. Okay? Some very quick stats. From 3-point range, Tatum, 45%. Total field goal percentage, 36%. Free throw percentage, 65%. He was missing inside the arc and from the free throw line that cost them 8 to 10 points a game.
Right.
Hands down. 45% is better than Steph Curry shot in this series, and he was putting up 7.5 attempts a game.
You know what that tells me? You know what that tells me? He needs to get in the weight room this summer.
Right. And Jaylen Brown put up 8 threes a game, 34%. But he shot 43% for the field goal percent for the series. So he's making everything inside the arc, and he couldn't hit a brick wall from outside the arc, right?
Right.
And
Marcus Smart, 41%. Al Horford, 62%. Derek White, 40% from three-point range. Their starting five was like 47% from three-point range in the series.
Yeah. And that's
great numbers.
They're selling. That's great numbers, but here's the point. When it comes to the NBA Finals, when it gets the grueling and the grinding and the pounding, and we saw how the games were called, you got to be able to make shots inside that arc. There's no if and you got to.
But that's what I'm saying, knowing your role. Jaylen Brown didn't be putting up 8 threes a game when he's shooting 35%.
Well, the deception in those numbers is that we don't have the hard, raw numbers. We just have the percentages. Right. The raw numbers will probably tell a different story, meaning that you're shooting, in order to get to that number, what did you actually shoot? How many threes did it take to get to that number?
That's what I just said. Jaylen Brown was putting up 8 3 points a game and shooting 36%.
But I'm talking about all the way across the board.
Right.
Like if everybody's shooting if everybody's shooting ridiculously high clips to shoot those percentages, that's not the game you want, and that's not really where your advantage is.
Right, because you think about one game with Tatum. One game Tatum had 23 or 26 points, but he took 23 or 26 shots. That's not good.
Well, and then also if you're missing those shots. Because where I would love to see the number of transition points percentage that Golden State had, because I would imagine it's pretty high, because that's where they were getting killed at. You know, every time they would miss these threes, these long threes, or they would get a turnover trying to drive through the middle instead of just doing a triple post, they're scoring off that. So for every high percentage of threes they're shooting, they're losing it on the transition game. So it washes out. So I get the numbers, the percentage of the numbers and that analytic, but the truth of the analytic is that when you combine the two, transition scoring to what they shot, it washes out. And it really ends up in the loss. So I get it. Listen, Boston, with all that being said, Boston is not far away. And I do think I'd run it back. I don't think I'd tinker with it too much and start trying to
make up. You have to have a better bench, though, at least.
Hey, Lloyd, in the series, Golden State shot 36% from 3. The Celtics shot 41% from 3.
Total. Right.
In the series.
But that does it tell you? But we don't have the number of transition points, right?
I don't know about transition points.
That's my point. I don't think it was the Golden State's overall 3-point shooting that did it. In fact, I didn't think that's what I said earlier. I don't think their half court game was that good. It was okay, but it wasn't great. Where they got killed was in transition. They were getting destroyed in transition, which is why you kept hearing Draymond and you kept hearing all the announcers say, man, when they push the ball up the court, they're catching Boston off guard. They're catching them in that transition and they're not recovering well. I think that's where, and I don't know. And honestly, I don't know how you fix that with Golden State, because that's who they are. That's the definite, right?
And here's the crazy thing about it. Like I said before, that wasn't the best Golden State has ever played in the finals. I mean, to be honest with you, was the time to really catch them slipping was this year. So next year, if they're healthy, you ain't gonna catch them slipping.
They rebounded the ball really well in each series. I think that was also a major thing. They kept Boston off the boards, and definitely was able to capitalize on that. So I think that was a big issue too.
Well, while we over on the Steph Curry, on the Golden State side, let's go to question number 2, because you mentioned this earlier, Jesse. Steph Curry put on a final for the ages. Is he in the top 10 conversation now?
He's always been in the top 10.
Some people feel otherwise. I've been talking to a lot of people, and they still not giving him his credit to be in top 10. So I feel like he is. I feel like he was.
Let's list the ones that are automatic. Okay.
But before we list, let's do this. Let's qualify it. Because that's where I think the problem with the conversation is. You can list a bunch of names and say, oh, he's not better than this player. He's not better than that player. Well, based on what? Because if you're saying Shaq is automatically in, well, based on what? Because he's taller? Because he dunked on people? Like, what are we talking about? What's the qualifier? So if the qualifier is impact to the game, is the qualifier what is the qualifier that make you top 10, I guess?
Right. Impact of the game can go in so many different positions because everybody plays a different position. So, not everybody, but, there are so many different positions for the game,
Well, he's definitely impacted the game. I mean, people shooting 30 feet in AAU, that stuff. So he's definitely impacted the game, good or bad.
And by the way, sometimes that's not a good thing.
That's not a good thing.
I say good or bad. I say good or bad. He's
right.
At least good or bad.
No, I'm just messing with you.
But okay, so like I said, and then are we counting championships? Are we counting MVPs? Are we counting what are we? So that's the part about the top 10 conversation for me, because there's guys that I hear them putting in, and I'm saying, well, that dude doesn't deserve to be in.
No, but I'm saying you could take 5 off the board, Lloyd, and none of those things matter.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. So Kareem, Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, Magic.
I'm totally okay with those 5. But are we all okay with that?
MVPs, impact to the game,
I'm okay.
generational player in their era.
You might as well add Shaq in there somewhere. How do you put Shaq in there?
The next 5 is where it gets tricky.
Those 5 you can't touch, right?
I think the next 5 get tricky.
So let's talk about the next 5.
Okay.
Shaq.
I mean, Shaq has got to be. Shaq is either 6 or 5.
Wilt.
Bird.
See, I struggle with Wilt.
You struggle with Wilt?
I struggle with Wilt because
so that's one struggle. Take him off.
I would say take him off.
Okay. Let's just take him out of the conversation.
Okay.
Now. So if Shaq's in the top 10, that's 6. Okay. Bird.
This is weird because Shaq's one of my favorite players, and I don't know if he belongs there.
Shaq was
excuse me.
Hold on.
How do you not say Shaq does not belong there?
I don't know. I said I don't know. I didn't say he doesn't. I said I don't know yet.
Why do you not know?
He's teetering.
Because of what's about to happen when we start mentioning other players.
Kobe?
That's why. Well, Kobe already had Kobe in.
Oh, he got Kobe. Okay.
Yeah, Kobe's in. So we got 6 players in. Okay. Bird.
How do you not have Bird in?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Same reason why you have second thousands.
Okay, Bird over Steph.
No.
How many have Bird won? What is Bird? I mean,
Bird got 3, right?
3.
Bird got 3.
No, Steph is in there. Bird for me.
But see, here's the thing: what y'all said in the beginning is, how do you classify this top 10? I mean, because part of this top 10 could be opinionated. Like right now, my opinion is there's no if and but. Shaq is not in there, and Lord is saying I don't know, and we're trying to say
hold on. Again, my I don't know is only because of where I think this is going. Because here's what I'm going to say. I can't believe you haven't already said it, Reggie. How do you leave Tim Duncan out?
Oh yeah. I mean, and see, I'm trying not to be opinioninated, but what are we?
But you got to be. But that's the point of this. You got to be. You can't leave Tim Duncan. So now we're at 9. Think about what we just said. Now we're at 8 or 9, depending on how you want to say it. Right?
I got to put Dirk in there, right? You got to put
Dirk is not getting
stop.
there.
But Duncan, 5 championships, 3 Finals MVPs, right? But he averaged 19 points a game for his career.
How about 20 trips, straight trips to the playoffs, period? No breaks whatsoever. An entire career spent in the playoffs. I don't know how you not put that in.
Jerry West?
No, I would not put Jerry West in.
Bill Russell?
I mean, that's.
I'm just throwing names out there.
That's why.
And that's what I'm saying. That's where the Shaq Russell thing comes in for me. Russell, 11 championships, right? Okay. But who had the rougher road to get their championships, Russell or Shaq?
No, Russell's not in the top 10.
That's what I'm saying. I would put Shaq in my top 10. But I can when people come to me,
Durant's not in the top 10. I mean,
Durant can't be in the top 10 for me.
It comes down to Kareem, Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, Magic, right?
Right.
Shaq and Bird have to be there for me personally.
I think Duncan has to be there.
I'm not putting Steph over either one of them. That's just me personally. But
I think Duncan has to be there.
That's 7.
I don't know.
So for your final 3, you've got Duncan,
yeah,
Steph,
yeah,
Wilt, and Oscar Robertson.
I wouldn't put Wilt over Bill because he's got the rings.
Over
and
who?
I wouldn't put
Wilt Chamberlain in over Bill Russell because he's got the rings.
So Steph's in the top 10 then.
He's in my top.
He's in my.
Okay.
Yeah.
We had 7. We qualified down to 4. No brainer.
So who was the 10th? Who was the 10th? I'm just curious.
So Kareem, Jordan, LeBron, Kobe,
right?
Magic, Shaq,
Right.
Bird,
right?
Okay.
Duncan.
Yep.
Duncan.
And then your remaining to choose from for 3 players, okay, are Wilt, Russell, Robinson, Duncan, Steph.
Who's Robinson?
Oscar
Robertson.
No, not for me.
Okay, he was in the top 10 of the NBA's All 75.
I know, but but that's because of the triple double thing, which I think is
saying,
yeah. No, I got you.
What you have to choose from?
For me, the final 3 are Duncan, Steph, Bill Russell.
I can get with that.
Or Wilt.
I struggle with Wilt because he didn't. While he has the undeniable numbers, it's not. He's a man playing against boys. I get it.
Now we're arguing about 10. Like Steph's in there though, right?
Yeah, Steph's in. Right.
Steph's in.
Yeah. All right, I guess I can live with that.
Yeah, I can too.
Well, of course you can.
I mean, I saw this stat where it said the only people with 4 titles, 2 regular season MVPs, 2 scoring titles, a Finals MVP, Wilt, Kareem, Michael, and Steph.
Right.
So that's crazy.
No, Kareem made it. Right? Kareem made it. Kareem was tops.
Number 1.
Yeah. So Kareem made it.
You know the crazy thing about it though, through all this, we say the top 10. It's so everybody has a different generation. The way the game was played, the way the game was called. It's so hard. Like
so hard. Yes.
To me, the dumbest argument to me, and I know people might be mad at me, is the Jordan and LeBron. Like that's the dumbest argument to me. It's like. I just don't get it. It makes no sense to me. We're talking about
people like competition.
We talking about eras. We talking about players. We talking about who they played against. You got so much things that are so different. You know, it's like me playing against my daughter Harley when she grows up. You know, they're different. We're different.
Yeah. It's hard to compare eras, and even in the eras, it's hard to compare eras. Because I've been hearing a lot of conversations about whose era is this one? Is it LeBron's or is it Steph's? I don't know. Does it have to be one or the other? I mean, I don't understand.
Be both.
Even the way the game was played, the way the game is officiated, it's totally different.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a weird listen. Yeah, that's a tough one. The draft is happening, fellas. It is already completed. It was an interesting draft. I think most people thought going into the draft that the number 1 pick would either be Chet Holmgren or Jabari Smith, but on draft night, the Magic shocked the world and said, "Nah, we're going with that Duke kid, Paolo Banchero."
He didn't shock the world.
Didn't shock you? Didn't shock? Shocked me a little bit.
Yeah.
No, he didn't shock the world. Vegas had him as the number 1 pick 2 days before the draft.
See, I don't listen.
I didn't look at Vegas.
I didn't look at Vegas. I should have looked at Vegas. You're right.
He flipped top odds number 1 pick 2 days before the draft. and there are a lot of people that made a lot of money on that. Woj tried to mess it all up morning of the draft, right?
Right.
Because those stories started coming out,
Yeah.
and Woj messed a lot of stuff up, lost a lot of people money. But he was that was already out. That was out there. I don't think it was
Really. Wow.
Yeah.
See, I guess I was so consumed with other stuff I didn't hear it.
From what I understand, Orlando didn't even work him out.
They didn't work Paolo Banchero out.
I heard they did not.
Wow.
So I wonder how they settled on him being number one. Like, what was it about him that they felt like that was the best player in the draft?
He's the most NBA ready player.
Do you agree?
I think he's going to have the best year next year. I think he's going to be rookie of the year next year.
Really? Wow.
Oh,
Okay.
I mean, you know what? I think Banchero and the kid from Auburn are pretty much identical almost sometimes. The way I think the kid from Auburn is a better defender. But man, I don't know. Those two kids right there are. I don't know. I that's why I'm not.
The only thing I know
right
is
now.
Orlando nails their number one draft picks.
They have a good track record.
Do they keep them? Is the question.
Now keeping them, that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
But drafting them, they kill it. They kill the game.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they go ahead and develop. So.
I'm gonna tell you something. For me, there's something about Jaden Ivey that I just love, and I have a funny feeling that kid is about to tear the NBA up. I don't know why, but it's just something about him. There's a mentality that he's bringing, and a disrespect that he's bringing that I think makes him interesting.
If it wasn't for Oklahoma City, I would have said Detroit had the best draft.
Yeah.
And what Detroit's got with Cade, Sadiq, right? Ivy. They also got Duren, who's hot.
Yeah.
And there's a lot.
I like Duren too.
There's a lot of talk, and with that young of a roster, they've got a lot of salary cap space, especially once they moved Grant. There's a lot of talk about DeAndre Ayton to Detroit.
I said that weeks ago.
If DeAndre Ayton goes to Detroit with those other players,
that's a problem.
That's a problem.
Yeah, Detroit definitely had a good draft.
I'm not a hot take guy, but I'm going to make one right now. If DeAndre Ayton goes to Detroit, that is a more talented top to bottom roster Memphis.
Someday.
I'm a still say
right now.
No.
Right now. Especially if Jaden Ivey is the 1.5, 2.0 of John Morant that I believe he is. That's a problem.
Now this question should be asked right now. December. This question should be asked in January of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because right now Memphis is proven. We don't know what Detroit is how they're gonna perform.
I agree.
So,
I didn't say
this is a great question.
What I said is on paper, if you look on paper, that is a phenomenal roster to come coach.
And be careful. They got Kimba too.
I'm just saying make my point for me, why don't you?
No, on paper, I'm just saying you can't expect anything from him next year. Cam corrected me the other day. He said Oklahoma City's in rebuild mode, right? Yeah. And I said, no, Oklahoma City's got their starting five. They're done. And he's like, no, but they're in rebuild mode because they still haven't done anything, right? They still got to go through all the maturations of, understanding how to play together and understanding how to win in the playoffs and understand, all that kind of stuff. And they're not going to compete next year, right, with Golden State or Memphis or Denver or Utah. So I had to kind of give it up a little bit. Oklahoma City is just.
So now let me use your argument. Let me use your argument with the Detroit Pistons. That's the exact same thing we said 3 years ago about Memphis. They on paper, they looked phenomenal. We're like, they're not going to compete. They're not. There's no way. And where were they 3 years ago? In the play-in game. and they made it to they beat the Lakers in the play-in game 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't be surprised if this Piston team is competing for a play-in spot, because talent for talent, are they competitive? Are they comparable to Cleveland right now? No. But if they got DeAndre Ayton,
so you're saying next year? You're saying next
on
year?
Paper, that's a hell of a roster if they can get DeAndre Ayton.
If they get DeAndre Ayton,
if
you say they get DeAndre Ayton next year, they're going to be a playoff team.
If they get DeAndre Ayton this year, they're going to fight for a spot.
Okay.
They're going to fight for a spot this year. Okay. I think the talent is going to be undeniable, and it's going to be hard to prepare for him because you've never seen this before. So if he can pull it together, it's going to be a tough man. They got a shot.
I say 2 years. I say 2 years. Bro.
Now, in 2 years, they're going to be hard to deal with.
Yeah, I say 2 years.
If they can get DeAndre Ayton, but that's a big if.
I don't know.
That's a big if.
Because the thing is, you got to give up something for Ayton, unless you just plan on giving up picks.
No, he's restricted. He's restricted. You just match.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're gonna. Well, the thing about DeAndre Ayton,
also they don't have to do a sign and trade.
No, they don't want him. And by the way, I don't understand that, but that's a whole nother. That's our next question, where we're gonna get into it in just a second. Well, you know what? Let's go there now because it's all kind of ties together. I don't understand what he's done wrong. Like, what has he done wrong that's so bad that you're 1 year removed from the finals and you're saying, nah, let's move on?
No, they may not want to move. They could offer him a max contract. It doesn't matter.
They're not going to offer him to him. Still, and you know how I know they're not. You know how I know they're not going to offer it to him, because they haven't offered it to him. They could have offered it to him at the beginning of the season. They could have offered it to him in the middle of the season. They can offer it to him right now. There's no reason to wait.
Yeah. It's something that happened behind closed doors.
There's something that has happened that's apparently so bad in Monty Williams' mind, and in the management mind. They're like, we can't coach this kid. He no longer deserves to be here. I don't get it. Here's how bad it is. Fault. No, he's not dating a Kardashian. That's the other kid.
Yeah.
But they still in somewhere in the team. She was at the game. Anytime a Kardashian was at the game.
Oh, my goodness.
The curse continues.
Well, listen, let's not act like Kardashians haven't ruined men's lives all over America. So, but I just don't know what it is that could have been that bad that you don't even want to offer him the contract. Like, this is not hard. It doesn't feel like this is rocket science to me, but apparently it's bad.
Do you think it will ever find out? You think it'll ever leak?
Of course it will. It's once he leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah, once he leaves. Yeah.
It reminds you of the Antonio Brown situation. Once he left Pittsburgh, you heard all the stories.
All of it, right? All of it comes spilling out at that point. But they don't want to. They can't say it now because, like you said, Jesse, they don't have to do a sign and trade, but maybe they can do a sign and trade. You know, there's some manipulation still left to be done.
Maybe that's why they drafted Duran in Detroit.
Because they don't want to touch him.
No, either that or
for the sign and trade factor. Ooh. Can the young boy get up to speed in time for a playoff run
before Chris Paul's knees give out on him? I don't know.
Well, that's essentially what I'm saying. Can he?
Monty can coach him up, I think.
Because you got to come all the way up though.
I mean,
I don't see it for Phoenix next year, especially without Aiden.
Oh, I don't either. But
if you take them out, who takes their spot?
Phoenix.
If you take them out of
it's the Clippers. It's not even close. To me, it's the Clippers and Golden State's to lose. Like, if the Clippers can stay healthy, and that's a huge if. That's a massive if. Yeah. Then I think they're going to be there in the end.
I think he's still sleeping on Denver. They were so hurt last year.
They were.
Yeah.
Their top 3 players didn't play.
So them losing Will Barton, does that do anything since he got traded?
No.
It doesn't do it. Okay.
Will Barton's a replaceable player.
Well, they replaced him.
Yeah, that's a replaceable player. In fact, I think they actually upgraded.
KCP.
I like KCP better, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I like him much, much better.
There are 13 teams over the last 12 years of his career that would disagree with you, but that's okay.
Who, KCP? There's one team that wouldn't. There's one team that wouldn't disagree.
13 teams in 12 years.
Hey, that worked.
So
That's
y'all
worked
want
out
him
for
back?
Gary Payton Jr.
It's a lot of contracts.
It's worked
Oh,
out.
the
for
Lakers
Gary.
absolutely want him back.
Lakers want back tomorrow.
Absolutely.
we can do that deal tonight.
Those are the kind of players LeBron needs around him.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And to that same point, I think that's the kind of players that Jokic and Murray need around them. They don't need a bunch of scorers. They need role players.
And
Why
Michael
was the
Porter
Lakers
Jr.
GM not listening to me last year before the season? I was telling them what they needed. I told them it wasn't going to work with the 80-year-old players. The Lakers GM, what's his name? He didn't listen to our show. I tried to tell him.
He didn't listen to our show.
Did I not say that?
You did say that.
I tried to tell him. So.
Wow.
But they have to learn.
I'm tired of learning.
Rob
There-
Pelinka.
There are some interesting names in this in the free agency this year. Guys.
I'm gonna tell you a championship swing name right now.
Okay, talk to us.
PJ Tucker.
Yes, no question about it. And I am very curious to see. Although all the reports say he's going to Philadelphia, but I am very curious to see if that's really true or not.
Yeah.
Boston could use him.
Oh my
A
God,
lot of teams.
Boston, he'd be great in Boston. Jesus.
No, but I'm talking when you're adding a bench player
Yeah,
that's going to play 18
Yeah.
to 22 minutes a game,
yeah,
Great
and
on
you only need him to do certain things. Those aren't scoring, right?
Yeah.
There are a few teams that are right there that need that over the hump piece, right? That also fits, right?
Yeah.
Like PJ Tucker wouldn't work in Golden State, I don't think, right? And first of all, you got way too many players under
yeah.
contract.
Well, they
give minutes to, right?
they probably have a younger version of him already. So
Right. You already so
Yeah.
but I think PJ Tucker is going to be could swing a championship next year, depending on where he goes.
How about this? How about this? To your point of PJ Tucker, how about Milwaukee calls him and on his cell phone they leave a message, "Baby, come back."
Yeah.
Because if he would go back there, I think that might make them the favorite.
Well, they're going to lose Porter, right?
Not necessarily.
Porter
He could
Jr.?
just sign a new deal, right? He could just sign.
No. He opted out of the 4.6. He wants a little more.
Yeah.
You talking about Portis?
Portis, yeah. But they're probably going to give him
Portis,
more.
sorry, yeah.
They're probly going to give him the more. But
Oh yeah, they're going. I heard
Yeah.
49 mil.
yeah, they're going to give him the more. So, but getting PJ to come back, because that was a mistake, by the way. Letting him go was a huge mistake.
Yeah. So he
You're
may
not-
not want to come back. He may not want it.
Oh, I think he want to come back.
Oh yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
if you win a championship, you'll come back.
He fell in love in Milwaukee, and she broke his heart a little bit, but that's because she didn't know any better. Now she does.
Hey,
Well, they're gonna have to
go
pay
ahead.
for it.
Go
They're gonna-
ahead, Iggy. Go ahead, Iggy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can always come back.
Yeah. They're gonna pay a little bit more though.
I like the PJ Tucker thing. There's a few more though that's out here.
What is PJ go to Brooklyn?
No, Brooklyn's a mess, dude.
They need him,
I mean, they need defense.
right? They need him. I just don't know. They need him.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to step in that dog.
I wouldn't step into that dog.
No, I wouldn't.
Save
either.
my life.
What about Dwight Howard? Do y'all want him back?
Next question.
No,
No,
Hey.
talk about relevant players, right? Like, so first of all, if the Knicks give
Good
Jalen
lob.
Brunson,
Good lob.
if the Knicks give Brunson that money, again,
Can we stop there for a second?
Yeah.
Am I missing something with this Brunson thing that
No.
I think?
His father works for the Knicks.
It doesn't
Okay, but
matter.
I wouldn't give the
Hold
money
up.
to.
Let's correct that. They just hired his father to lure him.
Okay, well, he's still working for the Knicks.
What am I missing? Like, I don't know. What am I missing in him that you leverage as much as they're leveraging to get
The
it?
highest points
They
per
give-
game he just had was this year at 16.3 points per game. Other than that, it's been at least right at 11.
How old is he?
I think he's probably like 24.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they think there's so much stealing.
I still don't. Just what were
Maybe
you
they
about to
think his
say?
stealing is the Sistine Chapel.
So hey, what's up with this pick, this number 11 pick that New York had and Oklahoma gave away a lot for? Anybody know anything about this kid? I was wondering about that.
Usman Jang.
Yang. Yeah.
Knicks did a lot of wrong things.
It's actually, listen, I'm going to mess with you, Jesse. It's actually pronounced Zhang, and I know that because of the championship Louisville Cardinals. We had Gorgie Zhang. And so we called him Yang for a long time, and he corrected us in the locker room. That's just a humble play.
Where your banner?
But I don't know. I know that he looks solid. I don't know why they felt like they had to do all of that to get him. But we'll see. Maybe he's transformative, and we don't. You know, he played with grown men, as he told us on draft day. I've spent my last season playing with grown men, so I'm ready for the NBA, which could be true. That worked out for Luka. So we'll see, I guess. I don't know.
So would you give Brunson $110 million?
That's a lot of money, bro. Not without having a full plan of what we're ultimately trying to accomplish. Now, if he's a part of a bigger plan that we're all not aware of, like maybe they think they're going to swing some other players to come there, and then then that makes sense to me. But
the bigger question is, if you're Dallas, would you match or would you try to?
No,
I don't know.
No,
that's the bigger
I would
question.
not match it.
Yeah.
Hey, now, and if I'm not mistaken, and Jesse, I don't know if you agree with me or not on this one. Isn't this what New York Knicks do? They do stuff like this. It doesn't make sense.
This is the Knicks being the Knicks. So
yeah,
it's Jerry Jones and Dan Snyder and Dolan. I mean, just.
But this was supposed to be different with Worldwide West, though. Like he was supposed to have a little more sensibility to all of this.
Okay.
I mean, I don't get it either, because one of the questions we didn't answer from question 3 was who had the worst draft, and I think far and away it's the Knicks. I don't know what the hell they were doing.
Yeah,
like none of what they did made any sense today. Now, if they have this long plan that none of us are able to see, maybe they're going to swing some deal. Maybe this Donovan Mitchell thing is real. This Donovan Mitchell to the Knicks thing, maybe that's real.
Should be Bradley Beal.
Well, okay, so let's talk about that as well. He opted out today, which everybody knew he would. Though Woj has said, and without confirmation, he has said that he believes he's going to opt back in for the 248. That is not confirmed. It has not come from his camp, not come from Bill. There is no proof that he's going to opt back in. In fact, the only thing that Bill has said is that he has entertained calls, quote unquote, from everybody. So we'll see. So is Bill the secret sauce?
Do you think it's a mistake if he resigns with Washington?
For his career and legacy?
It depends on what he's trying to do.
Just for, money-wise, yeah, he's going. Yeah. I mean,
it is never. Let me be clear about something, Chad Major. It is never a mistake to sign for 248.
I'm signed. We can go 0-82 when I'm signing.
Right, that's not a mistake.
I mean,
if that's what you want.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. What team can he go to? You can say that will be a championship team.
Every team,
Boston.
Boston. Boston.
Well, I'm saying who has room for him? Does Boston have room for him?
Yeah.
Money wise.
if they want to spend over the cap, the Lakers and Golden State have proved that the salary cap does not matter. And if you're willing to pay that luxury tax, you can go sign whoever you want.
I think there's no serious scenario in the NBA where Bradley Beal on that team doesn't make that team exponentially better. Now, the question is,
It's several teams. I said championship, not better. Championship.
Okay. Let's deal with the playoff teams that just this last playoff. Every one of those playoff teams gets exponentially better.
Well, what I'm saying, let's be logically about, like, we know Golden State wouldn't go after them. Or, I mean, if the Lakers got them, would they be a championship squad?
No.
No, I would disagree with that. I would say yes. They would be in the mix. You'd have to put them in the mix. Now, the problem is the same problem. They have the same problem. At the end of the day, they still got to fill the roster with Mo, Larry, and Curly. But
if we're on paper, yes, there'll be a playoff team.
I was gonna say that's a damn top-heavy team, and you got to contend with that. Yeah. So I put them in the mix. I don't know if that gets them over the hump.
That's what I'm saying. Championship team. Let's be. I think Boston,
Milwaukee.
Oh, Milwaukee, yeah, hands down.
I mean, you can say that about all of them. Miami. If he went to Miami, they'd be. If he went to Philly,
no, but you got to take players off some of it because there's not room for them, right? Who's got shooting?
That's what I'm saying.
You can't say someone to Portland.
That goes against what you just said. You said if a team is willing to go into the cap, you can put it whatever the hell you want.
No, but see, Boston doesn't have. Who's got a shooting guard spot that either they can give up and replace with Beal, or is empty that they can put Beal in that takes them over the hump?
Better question.
That's what I'm
saying. Is there a shooting guard spot right now, other than Golden State, that you wouldn't put Beal in?
Atlanta. Trae Young's your shooting guard now.
I don't know. No,
I'm not 100% sure I would put Beal.
Phoenix.
I might have to do that.
Devin Booker's your shooting guard.
I'd give you Phoenix.
Yeah.
Or I'd move Devin Booker to the point guard spot.
No, if anything, you make Beal play point guard.
Okay, I can do that. Right.
Yeah.
I'm saying Bradley Beal solves a lot of problems for a lot of teams, especially those in contention. So I don't know that I wouldn't pull the trigger on it.
But see, the problem is he demands so much. Man, these teams are already right at the cap. The teams that you're kind of saying, like they'll be way over the cap.
Dallas has some space.
Dallas is with Bradley Beal is 1 and 2 to Golden State at that point. Like that's a hard ass team to beat. That's a hard team to beat.
I still got a healthy Clippers in there.
Yeah.
You do, but I don't know if the Clippers got that kind of firepower, man. Clippers are the same as Boston. They're defensive heavy. They can guard you, but can Kawhi and Paul George go consistently get those buckets every night? They haven't proven it yet.
Have you seen a healthy Kawhi Leonard before? I'm just
trying to
say.
I have.
And Kawhi have done it on both ends of the court. Now that's one person you ain't got to worry about getting tired.
I don't have to worry about him getting tired. I have to worry about him lasting.
And Lloyd, what's the best ability?
Availability. Got to be there.
Yeah, there you go.
Did you hear what I said, right? I said a healthy Kawhi Leonard. Listen to what I said.
That's a stretch.
I didn't say Kawhi.
Okay, a healthy Anthony Davis.
I never seen that before. So I don't know what that looks like. I can't tell you.
You saw it in 2020.
Yeah, but they played a 42-game season.
They played 2 months.
Hey!
2 months.
Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
In a bubble. You call Anthony Davis Bubble Boy. That's his new nickname.
The asterisk championship.
NBA players playing.
They don't asterisk. Championship.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen a healthy Anthony Davis. That's what I would love to see if he can play 1 year. I would love to.
I'm hoping to Rasheed Wallace.
Hey, what if Colin Sexton gets picked up and they took him out in Cleveland?
Oh man,
Well, he's a free agent.
Restricted, but yes.
Restricted.
Free agent. I like Colin Sexton. I'm a huge Colin Sexton guy. So I don't know. He moves the needle. Where would be a good fit though is the question.
I don't know, but a team like Boston could go pay Colin Sexton a little bit more than what Cleveland's going to offer him because Cleveland's not going to give him a big deal. His payday's not coming yet. So
can I throw something out that I think I talked to Reggie about offline? If we're going to get into a point guard discussion, that's the kind of point guard that I would want to get into a discussion with.
I said
Colin Sexton, because then I can still play Marcus Smart. I can't take Marcus Smart off the court. I have to keep him on the court.
But Sexton's not a point guard.
Yeah, he is. That's his natural position.
Okay.
He's listed as a point guard.
Yeah, he is. That's why I was saying the question earlier, as far as if they had a point guard, would be somebody.
Yeah, he's listed as a point guard.
So let me ask y'all this question, and I asked Lloyd off air. What do you rank the Atlanta Hawks in the East right now with that trade? You rank them.
And see, I have them somewhere 4, 5, or 6.
Yeah, right where they were already.
No, they weren't there. They were in the play-in last season.
Well, before they were like 4, 5.
Before they were in the play-in, they were in the 8th, 7th, 8th spot. They were 6, 7, 8 the year before, and they went to the play-in last year.
I thought they were higher though.
No. They've been about the same for the last 2 years, but that's okay because that's probably.
Because my question is, is this trade worth? Because you gave up picks in the future. Is it worth it? Does it move you up to that 1, 2, 3, or 4? Why do you make this trade?
I think you make it to learn now and to dominate later.
Yeah, and get some of that pressure off Trey. Get some of that pressure off Trey, I think, too, right?
You learn how. It's kind of what Boston has done. You learn how to win and get better, and maybe you sneak into some conference finals the next year or two. But by the third year of them being together, they look like the championship backcourt that you want them to look like.
I say Trae Young is not your focus, so you can't just double Trae Young like that because you got DeJounte over there that can put up some buckets. So I think taking that pressure off Trae is what ultimately made them make this decision, I think. But those picks are going to be valuable, I think.
Well, maybe. Because they're not going to be top 15. They're not going to be lottery picks.
Well, they're not protected. So, I mean, that's they're
going to be first round picks that could now the good news about those picks, they went to the Spurs, and the Spurs know what to do with late picks. So they got no struggle on that part of the game. They're going to come away with a quality player or a quality situation, regardless of where that pick lands.
Yeah.
But I think it's a short and long term play. Yeah, it makes it competitive now, but it could be a huge play if they learn to play together.
And see, me, I'm trying to understand it. I don't know if it's good or bad. My personal opinion, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure it out on both ends. But what I'm thinking is you're not going to be Milwaukee, you're not going to be Miami, you're not going to be Boston, you're not going to be Philadelphia. Can you beat Philadelphia? Who else am I missing? If Detroit comes on like you think they're going to come on, are they able to beat Detroit? So you're talking about you gave up a lot to be in the 5th or 6th position.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This year, though. Like next year, maybe they, with better understanding of who they are and what they can be, now all of a sudden.
But you don't have any picks for no first round picks for the next 3 years?
Oh, no, you locked in. I'm saying the team, not the picks.
Yeah.
I'm saying the team. As this develops every year, this becomes, you're hoping that a team continuity builds. You're hoping that John and Trey and DeJounte kind of bond, and then you can put some substantive pieces around them, and now you've built yourself a championship roster.
So you're saying like Clay and Steph and Draymond
Exactly.
they got, and they will grow into something like that. Okay, I understand what you're saying.
On that side of the court. Now, for the Spurs, I think they did amazing. They got exactly what they needed out of that situation, and they can start to rebuild what they want to rebuild into.
Yeah.
You know, like I was talking to Lloyd, and it's funny. I was like, man, why are they drafting these guards like they were drafting? So they already knew what was coming.
They knew. Yeah, they knew.
Yeah, they knew. Yeah.
I want to throw out some names, you guys, real quick, of interest. You tell me what you think. We talked about DeAndre Ayton, Kyle Anderson as a complimentary piece. Does he get out? Does Memphis let him out?
I think he's gone. I mean, he'll be good in a place like a Boston, or place like a Golden State. You know, he has a
Chad, y'all can't have everybody. Chad, y'all can't have everybody.
I'm not. I said.
Yeah, you did. You said Golden State.
First. I mean, he'll be a good fit because we got some open roster spots, man. I'm just saying.
He might come back to San Antonio.
Okay.
I think he wants to actually be in the playoffs.
You know what, Chad?
I say that.
He said that aloud. He says that out loud too.
Right.
I heard.
Hey, you never know. We might have just got the next Kawhi Leonard out the draft.
I thought I cut my mic off, man.
Gary Harris. Unrestricted. Gary Harris. That's interesting to me.
I mean, would y'all take him? Would the Lakers take him?
We can't afford him. He's gonna want money.
Gary
Harris is 27.
True.
Yeah, he wants money.
Hold up, time out. Who can the Lakers afford?
That's a great question. African Mabata is sending PlayStations.
I don't. Just to say they go over the cap, so I mean it shouldn't matter.
No, they can afford they can afford their summer league players.
Right. We signing Scottie Pippen and Sharif O'Neal.
Scottie Pippen Jr.
And we're gonna put heavy minutes.
Can I talk about that?
Sure.
I don't understand that Sharif move. I really don't.
Neither did his daddy.
Yeah.
Neither did his father. His father was like,
I watched him play. I'm like, son, you need to stay back in college.
You're not ready.
He played what? Not even a full year of of college basketball. He got hurt the first year, and then I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
And I saw Scottie Pippen Jr. play. Yes, he had a decent season. I'm still like, yeah, you might need to stay one more year too.
They'll be in the G League.
I mean, I guess
that's what they said about his daddy.
Yeah, I guess here's the thing.
Oh, you talking about Scottie?
Yeah, I guess here's the thing.
Hey, he better score. Hey, Jess, he better grow about 5 more inches over this summer.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Hey, all I know is
in their mind. Hold on a second. In their mind, they're saying, "Do I want to go? I don't want to get a college degree right now. I want to play ball." So, will Scottie Pippen Jr. and Sharif O'Neal be invited to the G League to play? Probably.
Of course.
Just on name recognition alone.
Name. I was about to say on name. Would you?
Yeah. Dwayne Wade's son is already there, so I mean.
Right, Dwayne Wade's son is already there. So.
And I'm still trying to figure that one out because I saw that kid play.
Hey.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. I regret.
No. Listen. This is their. They have to carve their own paths. Their fathers will let them do it. So this is what it is. But they may be in the G League for quite some time, is what I'm saying. I hope they like the G League. Hope they get comfortable. Because they may be there for quite some while.
Could have made more money with NIL deals in college.
I agree 100%.
There you go. See, now that's what I'm talking about, Jesse. Yeah, right there, Jesse.
Let me throw out a couple of other names here.
Nope.
Miles Bridges, does he leave Charlotte? He doesn't leave Charlotte, does he?
Depends on how big the bag is.
They need a veteran president on their team bad.
They real bad.
Somebody, yeah.
I was talking to Reggie about this earlier. Lonnie Walker.
I don't even know
I think
who that is.
That's interesting.
Lonnie Walker was the one with the funky hair that played for the Knicks, and he played with Orlando first, and then he got that funky.
no, he played with the Spurs. He played with the
Yeah, he
Spurs.
played the Spurs.
No, I'm saying he played with the Knicks and Orlando first, then he went to the Spurs. He played with the Spurs last year.
I thought he was with the Spurs for a minute.
Spurs drafted him.
Who am I thinking of that's got the funky hair? I'm thinking of Reggie Bullock.
Yeah, that's
He got the funky hair with the.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's about yeah.
All right. Well, Lonnie Walker, does he leave San Antonio?
Irrelevant.
They guard heavy.
Not anymore.
Oh
No, they're real guard heavy now. They just drafted 2, didn't they?
And then one kid from Ohio State, they said his potential was
He's
high.
a beast. Yeah, I think he's a beast.
So then he'll lose minutes. So yeah, he'll leave.
I don't think they're
Well,
gonna.
you know that. I think they may keep him because they got cap space now. So
Where's LaMarcus end up?
Home.
Or is it over? Or is it over? It's 36, about to be 37.
with the Lakers.
12th man
I
not
mean-
playing. Doesn't matter what team.
He
I
might
think
step
he'll
in that
be
stuff in Brooklyn. He'll step back in that.
He can't help anybody. He can't go to Phoenix and help them.
No, I think you need to go to the Lakers for real. I think he will help you guys because he did.
Probably would.
If you look at, he averaged 11, 12 points in the regular season last year.
I
Then
mean,
why
he
didn't
can't
he
hurt.
play 1 minute in the playoffs?
And see, that's what we didn't understand. I thought that was a dumb move by Brooklyn.
Somebody knows
Not
something.
playing
You know.
any. What's that?
Steve Nash tried about 22 different 5-player combinations in that Boston series. Every single half, he was switching those combinations up, looking for something that would stop the bleeding. And LaMarcus Aldridge never made it off the bench.
Right.
So somebody knows something we don't know. And
Exactly.
That don't mean Steve was right. That just means he couldn't get it right.
he didn't have the confidence to even put him on the court in any one of those trial and errors. This wasn't like
I
he wasn't
agree
in
with
he wasn't in like the 8-man rotation. Like they played 13 players.
But you're
Yeah,
saying
sure.
that like we should believe that Steve Nash is an accomplished coach that knows what he's doing.
I'm not. I'm saying if LaMarcus Aldridge is sitting on my bench and he's contributing anything in practice or any other capacity at all, and you thought he could play, somebody would have said put him in that game. To
Right.
say the
And
owner, Durant, Kyrie,
I don't know.
Because-
Brooklyn
here's
finally
the
got
thing.
off the bench.
This
It
is
started
probably a
producing.
bad example to use Brooklyn for any type of conversation like this because they're a mess anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
hey, aren't y'all getting what's high jumping guy from Brooklyn? Well, not high
yeah, the
jumping.
rumor is
anymore.
Blake Griffin is
Blake Griffin.
soon to be a Laker, so I don't know.
Hey, he don't have to change his dress.
How about they just give us all their spare parts? We'll take all 3 of them: Drummond, Griffin, LaMarcus.
Drummond in the spare part.
all on $1.7 million deals, and just be
I'll trade Horford for Drummond right now and bring him off the bench.
Oh no, you wouldn't. Stop that. Stop that.
The
Stop
hell I
that.
would.
Listen, I know you're angry. I know you're in a dark place.
For Andre Drummond, straight up, I'll even throw in some cash.
Yeah.
I would not do that at all. But Drummond is available. It was another name that I want to throw out. Interesting name. Played decent off the bench for what he was. Carmelo. Anybody want to take a run at Carmelo?
That's exactly what LA needs.
Yeah, exactly. He
Is what we need. I just don't know if he'll stick around. I don't think he enjoyed himself totally in that circus either. So he may be like,
Well, I mean, when you're playing more than the guy making $40 million and you're making 1.9, I'm sure that's probably not
yeah.
I think it'll be.
How do you think How do you think LeBron feels every time he steps on the court next year, knowing that Westbrook's making $6 million more than he is?
you like bringing that up, don't you?
All right, question 5.
Yeah, let's get to question 5 because we gotta wrap up. What would the Deshaun Watson decision be? They're meeting right now. And where will Baker go? Just out of curiosity. Does he get the year?
I think if Deshaun Watson gets the year, Baker's going nowhere until next year.
I think he gets 10 games.
Still, Baker probably not going to go anywhere.
Oh, Baker's not playing a down for the Cleveland Browns. Not one down.
If he was
No.
smart, he better play.
No, he'd play the first 10 games.
No, he is not
Right.
playing a down.
Well, they'll
this
figure
is
it
what
out.
I'm
They
saying.
opened the door this week too. He said if Cleveland wants to come talk to me, we can talk. But I think it's burnt on both ends.
Yeah.
But he said that this week. If Deshaun gets 10 games, 8 games, whatever it is, unless Seattle comes with something stupid, Baker's
Hear
not
me,
going
good
anywhere.
people of Detroit. Baker Mayfield is not playing one down in Cleveland. He is done playing in Cleveland.
Okay.
Do y'all believe that? Are y'all in agreement that Cleveland should have gave him that much money, guaranteed?
No, I would not have jumped the gun that fast. Yeah. And by the way, if we're reversing the question and asking, should Baker Mayfield play in Cleveland? Yes, he absolutely should. Yeah. You'd be crazy to let him get out of there. Willie, no, because they're too prideful.
Yeah, I think Cleveland
never pulled the trigger in the first place.
Cleveland didn't do all their homework as far as on that Deshaun Watson thing, and they gave him that money without kind of thinking it through. So
it's all going to come down to this one fundamental fact. If you don't suspend Robert Kraft for a year, you can't suspend Deshaun Watson for a year.
Well, guess what?
Either it's a crime or it's not. And if it's not a crime, then you can't suspend him for a year. Because you only suspend for a year if it's a crime.
But one looks bad.
I think they're about to do it.
24 looks bad.
Hey,
looks worse than one.
The NFL needs to be hard on this.
They need to suspend him for a year.
And they've got and you know who's running the case, right?
Yes. She listen. It looks really bad. Right. It looks really bad if the woman running the case does not suspend this man for a year. It looks now. What I think will happen is they will technically suspend him for a year. He'll appeal. He'll get 10 games.
Hey, I also think, Chad, I think you're wrong. I think Cleveland did all their due diligence. I think they offered that man a ton of money.
Yeah.
And then they said, well, we'll probably only have to pay like 85, 90% of it.
Okay. Well.
I think listen, there's no lie told there to me. Not to me. Yeah. All right. Shout outs real quick.
By the way, I'm going to say it here first. Baker plays more games for Cleveland next year than Kyrie plays for the Lakers.
Whoa.
I think Baker and Kyrie play the same amount of games. Okay. All right. Reg, I know you got to go. What's your shout out? You got one before you go?
I don't, man. Shout out to you guys, man. Good to see you guys. Haven't seen you in a few weeks. Shout out to you guys. That's for my shout out.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yes,
Take care of that little lady there. Appreciate her. You're a good dad. All right.
Please.
I only have one shout out.
Go ahead, brother. I was coming to you.
That's the ESPN listing Colin Sexton as a shooting guard and messing up my game because I'm not wrong unless I'm told by some authoritative source.
I'm looking at two different sites that say he's a point guard.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying they're wrong. Therefore, I was wrong. And if you can't trust ESPN and what they're putting out there for positions,
we can't trust ESPN because I'm looking at a separate ESPN that says he's a point guard. So somebody's lying. But it's okay. It's completely okay. But again, he may still be what you guys need.
I'm just saying, I don't mix shit up.
Because I think your point guard could be a two-headed monster. One that does offense, the other that does defense. So I'm okay with either one. But I apologize for you because you only working off the information that you've been given. So that makes sense to me. All right. That's your only shout out? Really?
That's all I got.
All right.
Wow.
I was going to give a shout out to Brooks Koepka, but whatever. That was petty, wasn't it? I apologize. Go ahead, Chad.
Oh, man, I was trying to find one of my other shout-outs, but let me just go ahead and shout out.
Stop it. You only really have one shout-out here. What we doing?
I really don't. I really have more than one shout-out.
Oh.
I really have three, but I can't find the one I was looking for earlier. Shouting out my beautiful wife who had a birthday this past weekend.
Okay, you got to give her a shout-out.
Got to give a shout-out. So shouting her out on her birthday. We had fun. Good weekend, so definitely shouting her out. Also, I want to shout out the 2021-2022 Golden State Warriors on a very great season, victorious season, very live parade. Everybody was, very turned up. Definitely had, good time, celebrating that win. Had a couple of shots, and we're right back where we belong, man. So hopefully we can go ahead and hopefully Kendrick Lamar go ahead and drop a CD next year, because it's definitely holding true to form. Every time he drops something, we win a championship. So
Oh my goodness.
Come on, Kendrick Lamar, I need you to drop something next year too.
Oh my goodness.
I'm done.
The level of petty sometimes on this show is remarkable. I only have one shout out myself. And I think I want to give that shout out to everybody who has been fighting for Brittany Griner to be free. This has reached levels of ridiculousness that don't make a whole lot of sense. But hopefully this is coming to an end at some point here soon. Friday is a massive day. She goes back to court on Friday, and hopefully
2 years.
You think so? You think they'll give her 2 years?
Nobody that's trying to do anything can do anything. You can't ask for common sense in a situation where you're not working with sensible actors.
That's very true.
So the president of the United States cannot do anything in this case. I don't know what anybody else thinks they can. This is a political matter. There's a war going on, and Brittany Griner is caught up in the middle of it, and she is going to be played as a pawn as long as Russia has the opportunity to. And the United States has very limited recourse because, Brittany Griner is not worth a nuclear war. And so it is what it is. And so she's going to get whatever Russia wants to give her. And have to deal with that.
My hope is for the miracle on Friday. Though I don't necessarily disagree with anything that you have said here today. My hope is for the miracle, that something will happen to somebody, that they'll have a sensible head about it and do the right thing. But we are team free BG here, because it's wrong. It's just wrong on so many levels. And so I just want to see that young lady come home. So
she picked the wrong country to be in, unfortunately.
Well, she didn't do anything wrong, in my opinion.
I'm just
So Raekwon Barrett, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. It's good to have the Five family back together. We will continue to do this. Shout out to Killer Cam. We miss you, brother. Can't wait to see you again. Keep grinding and doing your thing. Until then, everybody, that is our starting forward, Jesse Wright. That is Chad Major coming off championship high love. Reggie Love just left the building. I'm Lloyd Spence, guys. This has been the Five. We'll see you.
Oh, Ray.
I'm happy.
Comment.
Oh, okay.
Praise to you, Ray, man.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Prayers to you.
Shout out. Yeah, man. Prayers up to you, Raekwon. Didn't know that was going on, but much love to you. Quick recovery to you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you. All right.
Quick shout out to Ron Nolan, too. Love everybody that watches the show.
Yes, sir.
But don't ask for questions that obviously prove you weren't listening to any part of our conversation, and then call our conversation the dumbest debate of all time. You can't have it both.
No. That's not what he did. That's not what happened.
Exactly what he did.
No. That's not what happened.
He asked about Kareem 4 times. You flashed it on the screen.
But there's a delay. That's what I'm trying to get you to. He was answering those questions in his real time. Gotcha. And that's why it looks like it. That's why it looks like that. There was a delay. Boy, he came for him, bro. Just breathe. Yeah, there you go. That's probably the better choice. We're out of here.
Five will get you 10 when you're plugging in with the no denying it. This groove here is the